Coming up on Look Today, well, the Saratoga Performing Arts Center announces it will expand its free education programs beginning this spring. I've got details. And Saratoga Springs city officials are preparing a new RFP called Smart Parking Management Strategy and Implementation. We got more on that coming up. And we've got more on the ongoing discussion between Warren County supervisors and local business leaders. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Jay Hood Jackson. This is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Mayor Meg Kelly of Saratoga Springs. She's here. I talk about a number of different issues in the city, including the new Charter Review Commission. Plus, I also sit down with Matthew Taylor. He's a senior student at Saratoga Springs High School, and he's here to discuss the issues surrounding gun control and what he and his fellow students are doing about it. It's part of our ongoing discussion with high school students. Plus, we've got your weather for the weekend for the Tri-North counties. But first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, the Saratoga Performing Arts Center held a board meeting yesterday at the Hall of Springs. Now, during the meeting, the board announced an increase in its free education programs. The Classical Kids program will be expanded, adding 3 new schools. Now, in addition, the acclaimed musical duo Black Violin will hold a free in-school performance at Saratoga Springs High School on April 9th. Well, we spoke to Dennis Mensch. He's a senior director of youth education, and we spoke to him about SPAC's outreach to other school districts.
Every year we expand the program to include more schools, as many as we can with the resources that we have. So over the past few years I've been adding school after school after school, and this year we've been able to add 3 more districts, Schuylerville, Broad Alban, Perth, and Burnt Hills. So that makes a total of 40 schools in the capital region that we now see, and about 10,000 students.
And we also spoke to Dennis about how Classical Kids is cultivating an arts audience for the future.
We really want to see a resurgence of youth, of interest in youth and students. In order to do that, we really need to put ourselves out there and to be contacting young students and young artists and really cultivating that next generation of audience goers. So I always hope that that's sort of in the forefront of people's minds, of thinking about the future and the next generation and what we need to do in order to ensure that we have audiences for many years to come.
That's so true. You know, so much research shows that when young children are exposed to the arts, it stays with them their whole life. In other news, Saratoga Springs city officials have a new RFP. You ready for the name? Smart Parking Management Strategy and Implementation. Scares you, doesn't it? Well, the request includes recommendations for specific technology requirements, which will probably help improve parking in our city. Now, some of the technology that could be used includes mobile phone applications and websites. Well, the RFP will be open on April 3rd. Now, later on in the program, I sit down with Mayor Meg Kelly to discuss this and other important issues. Switching from news to weather, well, today saw a slight decrease in temperatures, and that strange orb in the sky is commonly referred to as the sun. So, with that said, we can expect more snow this weekend. Let's see how the weekend is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first weekend forecast.
Thanks, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Sponsor with your first look weather update here on Look TV. We currently have a new area of high pressure setting up across portions of the Northeast. Also, too, we see these lines of equal pressure. Those are isobars in the meteorological world. The closer they are together, the stronger the wind speeds. Thanks to that area of low pressure that's still departing, that was also what was left of that potent nor'easter that we just had several days ago. We also have a new area of low pressure development across portions of the Midwest. I'll bring some stormy weather into the deep south, some of these storms severe, and snow into parts of the Midwest, maybe some icy precipitation into portions of the Midwest heading into the overnight hours. Any precipitation chances here in the Capital District? None. We're looking at dry conditions, but temperatures will be on the cold side. down to 18 here in the Glens Falls area, so mid to upper teens expected with wind chills down to 10. Mostly sunny, 34 on Saturday with that northwest wind as big as those wind chills about 10. That's your out the door forecast with actual air temps about 20 to 22 with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. As we take a look at our extended forecast, mid 30s on Sunday, 30 on Monday. After that, morning low of 5. And then we'll be into the mid upper 30s with a chance of snow on Wednesday, overnight low of 20, and winds should be generally out of the northwest. So a dry weekend into early next week, but be prepared for more snowy weather for midweek. That was your first look weather update here on Look TV. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser. Now I send it back to you, Jesse.
Thanks very much, Clarence. Well, it looks like we're in for a cold spell. That really was 5 degrees overnight on, I think it was Sunday night. At least the sun will be out. Back to the news. Well, discussion between Warren County supervisors and local business leaders continues to spark debate on how tax revenues should be spent to promote tourism in our region. Now, you might recall at the last meeting, supervisors voted to fill a vacant position in the county tourism department as opposed to using that money to expand the CVB. That's Convention and Visitor Bureau. Well, Frank Dietrich, who's a spokesperson for the Warren County Lodging Association, believes that the two organizations should be working more closely together and expand the CVB. Now, we spoke to Frank about what the next steps are in this ongoing discussion.
A big takeaway in the discussion that ensued around this position has to do with what we believe is helping the county supervisors understand the role of a Convention Visitors Bureau destination marketing organization and how to get there from here. So we're working now on a transition plan so we can show here's how you could make the move and do it in a seamless, non-disruptive way and a collaborative way as well, obviously. And then once in place, what would the initial strategies for a CVB be, and how do you put those in play so we can continue to improve the performance of the tourism economy here in Warren County?
Up next, I sit down with Mayor Meg Kelly of Saratoga Springs, and she's here to talk about a number of different issues in the city, including the new Charter Review Commission. I also sit down with Matthew Taylor. Now, he's a senior student at Saratoga Springs High School, and he's here to discuss issues surrounding gun control and what he and his fellow students are planning to do. It's part of our ongoing discussion with high school students. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. A couple of lookouts. First, it's Friday, so I want to thank everybody here. Ladies first, that's Antoinette and Dana, followed by Andrew. We have Drew. We have Jack and Joel. We have Norm. And we have the Bat. They make everything that we do here possible each and every week. Another quick lookout. Rich Ortiz is playing at Bailey's in Saratoga tonight. Rich just came back and did another edition of Tracks with us, recorded, I think, a couple of weeks ago at Cafe Lena here in Saratoga, and as always, just brilliant performance. So if you have the opportunity, go show some support for Rich Ortiz. He's playing in Saratoga tonight at Bailey's. And speaking of the weekend, it's St. Patrick's Day weekend, crazy weekend. It's going to be cold, so maybe that'll dampen it down a little bit. But please be careful out there. It can get dangerous. And don't forget, tune in Monday night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.